All right, Alien Earth.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
New TV show set in the Alien universe from Noah Hawley. Who's a showrunner on this. He's the writer of Fargo, Legion, and this is a new story. First Alien TV show ever made. It serves as a prequel set in the in 2120, I guess, 2 years before the events of the original film by Ridley Scott. Both of us, we are huge Alien fans. One of our first videos was a review of Romulus that we'll link up somewhere here. And also we did a little retrospective on the Alien franchise, which we'll also link up somewhere. And we both love this franchise, all the highs and lows and the Alien versus Predators. So we were both really
We'll
excited.
watch it all. You make it. We'll come see it. As long as it's got that Alien branding slapped on it, you've got our money.
Just put a monster in it and we're happy.
Even though they haven't made something really good for years, for many
decades
years,
probably.
Yeah.
Depending on who you're asking to. But yeah, so we are both really excited for the show. It looked like a fresh take, something interesting. And the first 2 episodes are out. We watched them and we have our thoughts for you.
There was a few different trailers for this that I saw before coming into it. I think the very first trailer I watched had it felt almost exactly like the first Alien trailer, and Prometheus kind of mimicked that same vibe. And it seemed great, honestly. It was like I enjoyed they give you the premise of what the story is. We have this deep research Weyland-Yutani vessel crash lands back on Earth, and it's almost like it's carrying all these different alien specimens from around space that it's been picking up and researching, and they're trying to bring it back to Earth to try and probably create like they have done in previous Alien films. They're trying to create medicines and things like this, technological advancements from these beings. So yeah, very cool premise. I liked some of the trailers. I saw another trailer that was awful. It was horrific. It made it look like the Disney Plus version of Alien.
Oh no.
And we get and there's some scenes in the first 2 episodes which I really didn't enjoy and felt so out of place in an Alien scenario, and the trailer was kind of filled with more of that stuff and the tone. So I had my worries. I was going in very apprehensive. This is Disney's Alien now. And I personally didn't like Romulus. I didn't like the characters. It had a great feel, a great look, a great tone, and I knew this would have the same. I knew it would hit those beats, but was there going to be any substance behind it?
Like an interesting story.
Exactly. Yeah. And so far, I'm still intrigued. I'm not exactly super excited for where it's going. I haven't loved the first 2 episodes so far. There's some good moments, some good characters, a lot of red flags for me that I don't know where it's going to go and how it's going to be back on board with certain plot lines. But we shall see. But at the moment, I'm still on board just a bit with the overall story.
Yeah, we'll get into some of those red flags in a minute. You were talking about the premise and the various storylines that we have in this show. I stayed away from marketing for the most part. I remember seeing the very first teaser trailer, which was a very generic kind of hallway shot of a xenomorph attacking something. And then maybe I saw one trailer once, but I was okay. I'm gonna watch this. So why spoil myself? And I think that that helped because I was really happy, especially with the first episode. I liked everything about the premise that I knew about, except for the time in which it's set. I feel like sending this before the original Alien movie kind of robs the first film of its importance.
The technology differences vast in the films. We have this synth who can, mold his body like Terminator 3
The
style.
cyborg.
Yeah,
That was an interesting character.
I
I'm
I like
intrigued by
that
him.
too, but it's then you get the Ash in Alien 1 who's like a who's like a way
just,
less
just a
technologically
guy.
advanced model.
It's
Um,
just Bilbo Baggins with
yeah,
milk in his veins.
I'm trying to ignore those kind of things because it does just yeah, I suppose it's not going to be consistent with the other movies, and they don't even try to be anymore. So
Yeah, I guess they're kind of ignoring the Prometheus Covenant duology, I guess, which I don't like. But who cares? If the story is fine, it's fun. I'll watch it. Just going back to that first Alien movie and what this being set before that does to that story, kind of like we discovered the xenomorph in the first Alien film, right?
yeah,
And we don't know how this story in the show ends, and these might not be like public knowledge by the end of it. I hope so, because that would be stupid. But
wouldn't make sense.
you're
Yeah.
telling me that a xenomorph and a bunch of other alien species were already on Earth 2 years prior to the events of that film. I do not love that. Like, I'm
No.
sorry. I'm liking the show so far, and I'm happy to be proven wrong by the end. But the idea of because it was supposed to be kind of like a first contact kind of scenario there. Like, oh my God, what's this alien species doing? Like, what's happening? And now we already had a contact with them on Earth. But I'm going into specifics a little bit more. And I guess we'll just spoil, we'll spoil the story because we're going into the episodes and what happens in them. But so the first episode, I think, is a great little microcosm of both the Alien film universe and what I hope the show itself will end up being. Because we start with an intro sequence that's homaging the first Alien movie, down to the scene transitions,
It
the shot
it
composition,
felt in a good way. It felt like
yeah,
an AI replication of like Alien 1. If you like put into an an incredible AI generator to be like, make me the intro to Alien 1, but a bit more modern. Like that is literally what all the sleeping pods are the same. Like you said,
yeah,
the crossfade transitions between scenes. It felt classic sci-fi. And
yeah.
I enjoyed all that stuff.
And down to the look of the actors as well, like they
Yeah.
were ripped straight from the 80s and put in this show. So it's a perfect recreation, and I was very happy with that. But I was also very happy that the next sequence was not that it wasn't just slavishly recreating iconic imagery from the original, but it was also trying something new. And we have something new in the form of these human-machine hybrids that you briefly mentioned before. We have a human mind that's been transferred into a synthetic body, and what does that mean? Are they human? Are they not? And this is kind of like the theme and the question that is going to be explored in the show moving forward. They're created by a new company in the Alien universe,
This is
and a
another thing.
new
It's like we never hear of this company again, and maybe we get an explainer as to why at the end of the
yeah,
season. Maybe they
I
go
hope so.
completely fucked, but yeah, again,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, there was actually another company. Weyland-Yutani weren't the top dogs back in the day. And it's all right, well, we'd never heard of them in any Alien movie before, but okay.
And we have a new evil CEO. Well, I'm assuming he's gonna be evil. He's not been evil, too evil so far, but he's a trillionaire, crazy person who owns a state basically.
This
So
guy, red flag #1.
yeah, the actor is I was like, oh, where have I seen this guy before? He was in an episode of Black Mirror, the one it was set in Scotland, I think, when they like doing that documentary, like a
Okay,
recent.
I don't remember that one. I haven't watched. I haven't watched a lot of the recent ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he gave me Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor vibes,
Oh
which
no.
is not good at all. And he's like classic quirky genius, like billionaire. It's like so stereotypical, and he's like sitting on a chair munching an apple.
I
and he's
just want to
acting all
have an
silly.
interesting conversation with someone because I'm so smart
You
that
get that
like
in the second episode.
oh yeah,
If
sorry.
that is that's he reveals his motivation for doing what he's doing with the synths. He's for some reason, and you get a little bit of explainer of this. Our main character, or one of the main characters, who's the young girl with cancer, who gets put into the synth body, and now she's called Wendy. Because there's all this sort of Peter Pan,
Laying it on
Lost
thick with the Peter
Boys.
Pan motive.
Yeah,
in
they
this.
literally call them Lost Boys. I thought that bit was silly. It's like, oh, in 2120, Peter Pan's still like
And the
the
Ice Age
most
4.
seminal movie. Okay, but they yes, so we get and then Wendy's not the only one. We bring in these other sick kids who become these synth human mind hybrids, and he reveals that he's doing this because he wants to create an intelligent enough being to have a good conversation with him. Which that's such shit motivation. And
I mean,
my
you don't know if that's just him
exactly that might
saying
just
that or
and I hope that is, and I hope there is some sort of sinister ulterior motive he has with the synths, because it makes no sense. Red flag number 2 is that we have all these kids playing adult synths, and they're all acting silly, and they're all acting like children, and it gives me classic Disney Plus silly vibes.
I don't know.
I
I
hated it.
I am intrigued by that. I think it's a
They get
fresh.
sent they get sent on most elite mission that's probably happened in, this kid's lifetime. He knows there's something precious on board this crashed Yutani vessel. And he's like, yeah, fuck it. I'll send a bunch of kids with no military experience, no training, no anything. They do have synth bodies, so they're strong. But why would he send these kids there? And because they're all scared, they're all stupid.
But they are
It
very
makes no
durable
sense.
and very strong. I don't know. Like
But
I
they're dumb.
understand. Yeah. But
And
that's kind
they're
of fun.
crying already. Is it fun?
The
I don't really want this to be silly and fun though,
Yeah, no,
personally.
I know what you mean. And but so far I think they've balanced it enough. Like
So I think
because we have
every scene they're in is inconsistent,
but
and
we have
we
Timothy
have
Olyphant's character to bring some
thank fuck, because otherwise and I love Timothy Olyphant and everything he's in. He's so charismatic, and
as soon as he did his little speech on humanity, like humanity used to be
about
food.
food. Yeah.
I was like, I guess you're going to be my favorite character in the show then.
And I knew that. I knew that from the trailers. I was like, Timothy Olyphant, if anything, this could suck, he will still be good in it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. They're on their way, sending this squad of synths, and some of them are playing rock, paper, scissors in the aircraft as they're heading towards this fatal, dangerous situation. It's dumb, it's silly, unless there is some sort of weird ulterior motive. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I
And
mean,
yeah, every time they're in a scene, I don't like the story.
he wants to like the trillionaire guy. Boy is actually called boy
The
something.
boy genius, the boy
Yeah,
wonder, or
the
whatever.
boy genius, and he is like, oh, I want to observe how they react to this situation. They don't really
Yeah,
know that it's gonna be very very dangerous when they send them there. So I don't know. I'm willing to give the show the benefit of the doubt that this is going into an interesting
they want
direction.
they want
Um,
to in one element they want to keep Wendy away from her brother, who we see we see this parallel of, who's another Black Mirror actor actually, and he
his Nemec, Alex Lawther, is a character in Andor. Sorry, you wouldn't
goes,
understand.
yeah.
But if you know, you know. One of the best speeches in fiction was done by this guy. Love to
And
see him in more things.
yeah, and he's a really good actor. And yeah, we get that Wendy wants to go to this rescue situation because he's a medic and he's been sent out to help as part of the search and rescue team when the space vessel crashes. But for some reason, the company wants to keep her away and keep her secret from her brother, but now they want to just send her directly
To
to the
the
brother.
brother. Yeah.
Again, unless there's some sort of motive behind this, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Yeah, it's at the moment, the plot is unraveling and falling apart unless unless
Yeah.
it kind of ties it together somehow.
And here with the brother character who's called Joe, but his military name is Hermit. Here we get our aliens part of the show and the first episode, because no alien thing is really complete if it doesn't have a little bit of both alien and aliens. So we have this military force that witnesses the shipwreck and it's deployed to search and rescue. So they go in and we have this cool sequence that's very reminiscent of Aliens, obviously, but with a little wrinkle. And here I think the character of Maro, that's a ship's cyborg. So Wayland Yutani's employee of the year, basically. He just wants
Yeah,
to
there's
do,
always Alien always has this character,
and I
this
love it.
defiantly loyal Wayland Yutani. It's usually an android. In this situation, it's a half. It's
Yeah.
a half man, half cyborg, and he will murder every motherfucker to keep the aliens protected, to keep the Xenos alive.
I really like the sequence where he's with Mother in that iconic room full
That was
of
cool.
switches, and the xenomorph is outside and he's trying to get in, and he just waits until the last moment to get into this containment unit, and saves himself. He's the only
And
survivor.
it dribbles. It dribble lands on him as he's shutting the hatch.
Yeah.
Behind him. Yeah, that bit had some genuinely good
There
tension.
are some good moments of tension and gore,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think.
And I really liked him as he sort of slowly walks up to the door when there's his last surviving crew member is there, and his hand switches to a melt, like a welder,
Yeah.
and he shuts the door on her, and then she gets taken out by the alien. There was there were some genuinely well executed horror moments, and I've obviously been fairly negative on it so far, but like I said, the tone, the style, and some of the music is great. The score's really cool in some points. It genuinely feels like an old classic sci-fi movie.
I was literally at some point I was moving my head to the rhythm. Like the music is really, and also some needle drops that I thought was really fun.
I see those. I didn't like those. There's 2 songs used at the end of each episode, which are kind of like needle drop moments, and they're very out of place in an alien film.
Yeah.
And they don't feel like the rest of the score is classic. It's orchestral.
Yeah.
And then
With
they have these more modern music at the end.
These synths and these trumpets, I guess.
Oh,
It's
great.
fantastic.
You have Timothy Olyphant close up of his face on screen as he's explaining things about humanity, or how humans are just food, and then it crossfades to an establishing shot of a massive industrial spaceship with that great old sci-fi John Carpenter-esque synthy soundtrack. In those moments I'm like, fuck, this is so good, or can be so good, but you can't. I'm not gonna let that fool me.
Yeah.
I won't be fooled by these things.
the key jangling.
There has to be substance. Yeah, there has to be substance to this. And at the moment, there hasn't been much yet. I like Maro's character. There's some interesting things going on with him. What is the prevailing mystery or the prevailing story now? There's 6 more episodes.
There's going to be a bunch
what is the
of
hook?
alien action, and there's going to be different specimen doing different things, and they have to deal with the kind of situation. And we've had I don't know, and I think you mentioned how you don't like the whole synthetic hybrid storyline with the Lost Boys, but I think
Just because the kids,
Yeah.
they're actually like 12-year-old
And they kind of
kids. That
justify
kind of thing.
that because a kid's mind is more malleable and it's easier to transition into this adult body and kind of like simulate adolescence in a way, but they're still very much kids at heart and they act like kids. And I thought that was, especially with Slightly, the character that follows Wendy in the second episode, I thought some of the moments with him were kind of funny, which you say, of course, you don't want the movie, the show to be just funny, but I think those are like rare moments of levity. The show it's very self-serious for the most part. So and
I mean,
and
I think almost every scene with them in is a serious scenario with them acting like kids and Timothy Olyphant saying, "You're not children, don't act like children," and they're scared. Like, should I kill the monster now?
yeah,
Or when Wendy's
I
like,
miss sleeping.
sperm,
I miss
sperm, does that come out of your boy's
yeah.
penis and then go into the girl to make the
The
egg?
girl, the
It's like,
girl.
but then the next scene, she's like, "Let's go on a search and rescue mission. I want to save my brother." It's like, it's so inconsistent
Yeah,
because you've got adults trying to act like 12-year-olds.
the red hair girl who's like, "Oh, I miss sleeping" or something like that. I was like, "Do you know where you are?" Like, just read the
Yeah,
room.
take a nap. Have a nap here. Yeah, go on.
But
Yeah, oh God, Tommy,
uh,
I hate this
what
bit.
I'm okay, so we'll see what it goes. I don't wanna defend the show too much because it could disappoint us. But I am interested in where it's going, and also I think if Alien wants to stay relevant in the sci-fi discourse, it can't just keep redoing the same stories and beats from the original
No,
movies. It
but
needs
and that's what they've kept doing.
yeah, but
They
here you
they very
have
rarely have tried to make an original
yeah, because when you
story.
have a movie, like certain things are expected, then they end up doing a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
of Alien and then a little bit of Aliens at the end, usually, like, and it's always like that.
yeah.
Romulus was like that too. Here,
Prometheus was kind of that first
and
venture
people
out
hated
into
it,
being
even
like, let's
though
do a different story. People hated it, but I
I
loved
loved
it.
it too.
But
I thought it was a fantastic film with some issues, as we mentioned in our retrospective. Little plug, go watch it. It's fun. But yeah, like I think now they're going the safe route of giving us the aliens combo. But then they are trying to explore new things. They tackle new themes, and I think this is sort of AI human hybrid is an interesting territory to explore.
yeah,
And
it's always been part of the alien
yeah, but
world
like
as
you
well.
explore
You
it
know, the
more with this idea of a human mind in a
yes,
synthetic
yeah,
body, sort of like a human made alien life form, if that makes sense. Like it's a earthbound but foreign
yeah,
kind of thing. So like I think that has promise, but as you mentioned,
for
the
sure.
execution is lacking in certain areas, and we'll
Yeah,
see if it sticks the landing. I don't know.
when they tee up that premise and they have the 4 corporations and there's these 3 different types of synthetic humans, cyborg synths, and then this new type, these human hybrids. I was like, great, cool. This is the kind of thing that an alien universe should be exploring as your sort of main plot line. And then you have the horror elements of the alien stuff kind of on the edges of all of this as your main crux of the story. And like, yeah, I don't dislike what they're doing. It's
How they're
the
doing
fact
it.
that they've
Yeah.
decided, yeah, the fact that they've decided to do it with kids, make it silly, have this weird kind of comedic tone to it. Yeah, not about it. And it was really funny because you mentioned it yourself. That first crew on the ship that we see
Is
in the
very
first few
alien,
scenes,
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, great, because the red flags in the trailer for me, similar to Romulus, was the fact that there's fucking teenagers or young adults everywhere, and I don't believe that they are the crew of this spaceship and they're engineers and things like that. They just come across as actors playing dress up.
Yeah.
And that group at the beginning were like, oh my God, I hope this is our group of main
And they're
characters. Because you
not.
had that Irish actor that I really like,
Yeah.
who's kind of talking about the conspiracies, like putting things in their cereal or whatever. And I'm like, oh, sweet. I think I'm going to fucking love this. And they all basically, I think they're all dead
Well, I
already.
guess they will
And
have
they've basically been,
flashbacks to what happened
we
on
might
the
get
ship, yeah.
flashbacks. And maybe some of them have survived as well. I'll be surprised if that Irish actor, or is he, maybe, yeah, I think he is Irish. if he's only in it for that one scene at the beginning, because he's quite good. So I would be surprised if he doesn't come back. But then they replaced that group with what I hate. And you've got these group of young adults who are kids playing synths, and it's like, oh man, you got rid of a bunch of good adult characters here,
Yeah,
and now all I have to latch on to is Timothy Olyphant.
which is great. He's really good in this. Okay, so first episode, good, not great. I am hooked personally. There are a few.
I think I preferred the first episode to the second.
Yeah, let's get into the second episode right now. So episode 2, another quite like I like this episode too. Like I honestly, the things that you've mentioned about episode 1, that didn't really quite click with you are still here, and I kind of get your point. But like I was kind of intrigued. We get some more world building. I think, we're what we are presented with is an interesting and coherent, kind of like universe, compared to what we knew about the Alien universe before. I'm not familiar with the expanded lore, outside the main movies, so I'm not sure if, it overwrites anything that was established in books or comics. It kind of clashes a little bit with Prometheus, as we mentioned, but to me, it mostly works. And we even put a face to the name Yutani, which is nice, a name that has been a staple of the franchise since the very first Alien movie. We knew a Wayland because Guy Pearce's character in Prometheus was Peter Wayland, right? But I think it's the first time.
And you had what's his name? Lance Henriksen
Yeah.
played a version of Wayland in one of the other Alien films
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. And I think, but I think it's the first time we see in the flesh Yutani on screen. So that was cool. We see if the character has more to do than just Skype calling the boy genius. And we have some spooky stuff with the new alien species on the ship. We get a nice little chase scene with the xenomorph, and of course a healthy amount of slaughter. When they found
The Zeno looks really
Yeah.
good in this. Yeah, and the face huggers look great. The practical effects on the creatures looks really good, and it kind of highlights how bad the other creatures look. What do you think? So there's a few other aliens on this ship. You have this weird slug-like thing which kind of sucks the blood
Yeah.
out of people, and then we also have this eyeball creature
and
with tentacles.
and this plant looking thing hanging on the ceiling.
I thought,
That
I thought that secreted the suckers.
I'm not sure, because then like we see like a tentacle coming out of it, and I guess it's a different
true.
creature from
It's a
those
different
little bugs. And we haven't, like, Timothy Olyphant says, maybe it's fauna disguising itself as flora, which I thought was kind of cool. But yeah, like the disconnect between the xenomorph and these other aliens is really apparent, because the xenomorph is done mostly practically, while
Yeah.
these other aliens are all clearly CGI, or if they're not CGI, they look like CGI. So
Oh no, they're fully CGI, and you can tell they don't feel real within the scene, and it's so, like you said, when you compare the two, and you literally track from a cage with a amazing looking practical face hugger in it, and then track to the next cage with these slug-like creatures jumping around everywhere, and it's like one looks real, one doesn't,
Yeah.
and it kind of ruins it. And I was saying to my brother when we watched the first episode, you have these, and it's this thing's quite cool. We have these two soldiers get tied up by Maro.
Yeah, love that
and
scene.
We have the blood, the little slug creature sucking on his neck, and they like fill up like with blood as they suck, as they kind of kill their target.
Yeah.
You could have so easily cut to another shot, a close up of the bag, and have an actual like fleshy looking practical thing filling up with liquid.
Yeah.
In just one cutaway shot. Easily done. I just don't.
And you get a better
it's
sense of
annoying.
what the creature is like, because so far we've
Yeah.
only seen it from a little bit further away, small on screen. Like we haven't really had like a close up of this creature as it fills up with blood, as you said. Like so, like it's just this bug, but it doesn't like its features are not clear to me so far. So yeah, I guess they keep it for later. Maybe they will grow, they will become larger and more dangerous. Well, I'm sure
Yeah.
if they are kind of like basing this whole thing on different specimen that they had, like they threaten the main characters at different points in the story. They have 8 episodes. I hope we're gonna have a fun escalation of like some of the fun of the Alien franchise is seeing the different stages of these creatures, right? Like
Yeah.
the alien
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
from like this egg to a facehugger, and then it bursts out of a man and it becomes this huge monster. So like I think they are planning something similar with all these creatures. They're gonna evolve throughout the show and become more threatening and more dangerous as
Okay.
we
Yeah,
go.
that could be interesting. Yeah, because they have been very well. I suppose they have been highlighted on, but yeah, like the eye alien creature, sort of falls off this cat and then attacks one of the synths, and it just doesn't look good.
Yeah, unfortunately it
It
doesn't. Also,
it's
we
un
obligatory cat moment because of Alien 1 with the cat.
because of Jinxie. What's his
Yeah,
name? Is it
I
Jinxie?
think so, maybe. But so yeah, it definitely something that like the effects in general, like even I didn't mention in episode 1, there is a bit that was I don't know, like when Wendy jumps off a
Jones.
cliff.
Sorry, it's the cat's called Jonesy,
Okay, sorry,
not
Jinxie.
Jigsy.
But yeah, like
God.
when Wendy in the first episode, she's like resting on this uh like rocky, like like he's
Oh,
overlooking the ocean, and they call her and she
and
jumps off the cliff
there's like this happy music
onto
playing
the
as well,
beach.
like this really weird.
Yeah, that was terrible looking. Like when she jumps off the cliff and lands on the sand, and then she starts running, and the camera pans, and she's already like far away. That was very
Yeah.
goofy, and I guess
I laughed out loud.
yeah, but they want to establish that these hybrids have enhanced capabilities,
Yeah.
and they wanted to do it, and they did it like this. So could be better, could be worse. I guess.
Yeah, they have such a weird they do like this long tracking shot over the water, and then we see her sitting on the cliff edge, like looking out, and everything's really bright. There's like this kind of more modern poppy like music over it.
Yeah.
And it just I was like, "What the fuck are we watching? Is this Alien?" Like it was the first moment in that first episode where I was like, "This does not feel like Alien." And we kind of get a few of those bits seeped in and out. But I suppose maybe because it's a TV series, you just can't keep that
Yeah.
sense of dread
The whole time.
the whole episode, each episode,
No, it
because maybe
becomes.
that will get too tiring. But I don't know. For me, that's just like the tone of Alien should be suspense, dread, fear, dark, eerie. Like these are, and anytime you're venturing out of that, it doesn't feel like an Alien
Yeah, no,
property.
it's true, and I'm sure they will escalate to that, and the last couple episodes
Oh
will
yeah.
be that, because that's gonna be like
Oh
the
yeah.
finale.
And we've had that
Yeah, and
still.
but right now they are having more fun in kind of giving us what we want with the xenomorph chase, and then when they find that rich guy having a costume party in his apartment, I was like, oh, can't wait for the xenomorph to tear through these assholes, and that didn't
Yeah,
disappoint.
but you didn't get to see any of
Yeah,
it.
well, every time he slaughters something, it's off screen so far. But but that
I
moment when he pierces the face of the soldier with the
That was
that was
cool.
cool.
And he's swinging him around, and again, that felt like a full practical thing. It felt like they had a
Yeah,
dummy on the animatronic or whatever it is of the alien. Like it all felt very real, that bit. So, but we get an introduction of another element I didn't like in the second episode. Just after this bit, Maro comes back into the story in the second episode, and he sort of
he
s-
saves Hermit. Yeah,
saves
Joe. Yeah,
Hermit. Yeah, saves Joe, and he zaps the xenomorph with an electric gun and puts it into shock, which we've never seen a Zeno be able to be
Yeah, that was
incapacitated like
weird.
this before. And then he puts it in this like weird gel bag, which I thought was interesting, you know, showing a bit more of the tech of this world. But it's kind of, his tech kind of almost looks like Geiger-esque. Like it looks like the weird organic shit
Yeah.
that the spaceships sort of turn into when the aliens have laid their eggs around. But then he bags up the Zeno and wants to take it in the
Looks very
elevator,
light,
and he
the
stops.
xenomorph, by the way. I was like,
Yeah.
well, this is supposed to be very heavy, this creature, but I guess the
This guy's
cyborg is
apparently just got,
augmented, so
yeah, he's got a robot arm, but he's super strong all the way through his body, I guess. And he's so robotic. Like I don't know what, maybe they should have just made him an android, this guy, rather than a hybrid. We'll see. Maybe it'll have importance in the story later.
yeah.
But he at the moment he just seems like a straight up android.
Yeah, it's true.
And he's like, he says to the soldiers, you know, they're stopping him. They're like, "What's in the bag?" And it starts
What's in
moving,
the
and
bag?
they're going to arrest him. And he's like, "I'm not the thing you should be worried about." He turns around. We get a similar scene where we're focused on a character, but all the death happens off screen. And it's sort of all left to your imagination. And he says before that, he says they can sense your fear,
Yeah.
the Xenos. And because he's not scared, the Xeno is about to kill him and runs off and kills somebody who shouts in the distance.
Yeah.
So now xenomorphs are basically Pennywise, and they only feed on fear. And if you're not scared, the Xeno will not attack
Come
you
on,
and
it
will
was
not sense you.
distracted by the noise that it went towards it, and
Oh, but he had prey. He had prey right in front of him.
yeah.
You know, Xenos are just killing machines, or you know, they don't feed. They just want to
Yeah,
kill.
they kill everything
So
they see, so yeah.
So why did he let Maro survive?
Because we need
other than the
Maro
intense
later
plot
on in the
armor?
story, Tyler. Come on. You should have learned by now, you know, like
Well, then they should write a better scene than this.
yeah, no,
Because
that was
now it's
strange.
like, it makes me question. Well, I was thinking, oh, well, then aliens. You know, Ripley's not fucking scared of the Xeno.
In the second
at
one,
points.
yeah.
She fully confronts it, and it's like, let's fucking go, you bitch. And it's like, well, the Xeno should have just turned around and walked away at that point because she's not scared anymore.
Yeah.
So I didn't love that.
Yeah, still intrigued by Maro. But yeah, that scene felt like, oh, we need Maro in this for a bit so that people are reminded of his existence, and then you know the alien is immediately, you know, I was like, oh, interesting, is capturing it, so maybe, you know, what's gonna happen next? No, it just breaks loose, and we're back to square one with the alien loose.
Yeah, that was actually so pointless. Like, what was the need for any of that?
Yeah, they just
bit,
needed
really?
to see that, like, to show Maro in the episode. So yeah, and they needed someone to save Joe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and speaking of Joe, I wasn't expecting him and Wendy to meet up so fast in the story. And I kind of liked.
That's what I mean.
I kind of liked how they meet, though. Like, Joe is watching this recording about a baseball match he used to watch with his dad when he was a kid. And when the screen goes black, we see Wendy's reflection on the screen. Again, people in the future strangely obsessed with old stuff from the 70s.
It's so funny. Like they stopped making movies in like,
watching
the
Ice
2000s
Age and Peter Pan and
in
old
this universe.
baseball high reels. So yeah, highlight reels.
People from today, I doubt, would even go back and watch like Reggie Jackson highlights. So yeah, that shit's funny to me.
Yeah, that was funny. But here we get the meeting between Wendy, or what was her name as a human?
I can't even remember. Like
Marcy,
Marcel or Marcy,
yeah,
something
and
like that, yeah.
and she's with Slightly, one of the Lost Boys. Is, you know, as you mentioned, very childish. But I kind of liked his scene because Joe sees that he has blood on him, and he's like, "Oh, let me check on you," and Slightly just goes for it, even though we've just seen that the blood that he has on his face just dropped from the ceiling, like he's not hurt in any way.
Yeah.
And he lets Joe do his thing, and of course he would, because, you know, Joe is an adult and he's telling him what to do, and he's a kid. So, you know, that was kind of funny and charming to me. I know you hated that probably. But also, like the fact that he can't keep a secret. He tells the other Lost Boys about Wendy's brother, and then as soon as they meet up with him, he's like, "Oh, hey, she's your sister, by the way."
Yeah. Like you said, I'm glad they just get it out the
Yeah.
way, because it's like, it's one of those things, it's a mystery that we know as the audience, and it's one of those things where you're like, okay, we're just waiting for the characters to catch up to our knowledge. And I'm glad they didn't stretch that out and be like, that's like one of the main mysteries.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
that would
"Oh,
have
now is she
been
gonna tell him?"
horrible. I was expecting the show to drag this out for longer. Wendy
Yeah.
would hide her identity from him, and then it would be revealed at the most inopportune moment. Like
And
either
he would be really angry with her. He's like, "How couldn't you tell me you're my sister? Fuck you, even though you're dying of cancer, you bitch."
Or maybe Joe is attacked by the aliens and he's about to die, and Wendy has to confess this truth as he's as he's dying in her hands. And so I'm glad they did it this way instead, because it allows for a more interesting dynamic moving
Yeah.
forward if Joe doesn't die, as the ending of this episode sort of like implies could happen, because he's attacked by the xenomorph once again. So yeah, like another thing I wasn't expecting, as I mentioned a couple of times in this review, all this Ice Age love in the show. Like, I get that you want a kids film that the brother and sister can reference from their childhood, but why Ice Age? And not even the first one, which is probably more of an iconic movie of the early 2000s, like a CGI movie.
Because they're in 2120,
So it's
the other one's closer than that.
it's the one with the ape pirates, which I think is like the fourth one, or like at least the third one. So
Is it? God, I haven't even seen that one. But God, yeah.
and it's such a good film that people will still watch it 100 years from now. So you should get on that, man. You should, it's on Disney Plus, so check it out. But yeah, without going too much into like the nitty gritty of the show, I think it's solid so far. It's not blowing my mind, but the production value is mostly high. Performances are mostly on point. I'm warming up to the characters. The story seems to be going in at least somewhat interesting direction. And it's also like the perfect playground for some gory alien action. I am just afraid that the xenomorph might become like just another alien, like because the new ones might steal the show moving forward.
They're not treating it in any way special as opposed to the other
we've already had
creatures, and maybe
we've already had so much alien action already, like with the xenomorph, which I thought they would hang on to a little bit more. So like,
and there was no reverence or build up. That very first time we see the Zeno and the alien attack is that scene we mentioned earlier where
Maro
seals the door. Maro seals the door, and the alien literally it's just a quick shot of it jumping into frame and like jumps on her back and starts like savaging her. And it was like, oh, like in a different property, it would be this really like long, slow build up to the reveal of seeing the Zeno. And I suppose like we all know what it looks like. I suppose maybe you don't need to do that anymore. But it just felt like you said, maybe they are just treating it as just another specimen on board, and this happens to be the best killer of them all. So we'll see it more prominently than the others, but it's nothing special.
We do have a few eggs that still need to hatch. So, good vibes about that, or should I say terrible vibes about that. But
and we haven't had an actual face hugger scene yet, so I'm sure they'll definitely do that. They did the chest burster, they've done the back burster. Maybe we'll get the butt burster in Alien Earth.
I can't wait to see that. Whose butt is gonna explode?
Where else? The alien has to come out of somewhere else. They gotta revamp it somehow. And
the corpses they've shown so far all had their chests burst. Oh, actually, were more than one corpse with like the chest hole.
Yeah, the one that Joe and his crew found, and they were like, oh, they want to follow the blood trail to find where the thing went out
So
from.
maybe there's
Was sort of
already one
garnering.
more Zeno.
Yeah,
Yeah.
potentially.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I'll keep watching.
I mean, what are the main plot points that going forward that you're excited to continue to explore? Because at the moment, like I said, I feel like this film or this series is missing like a mystery or it's missing something, a hook.
Yeah, like
Do you know
like
what
an
I mean?
intrigue. Like they could have maybe like I was expecting there to be sort of like a secret war between like the various companies, corporations that own Earth. That we've mentioned in the beginning. We have Wayland Yutani, we have this new Prodigy, and its CEO, and then we have the others. And I thought, and maybe that's the direction it's going. We're gonna have these different companies kind of like trying to acquire the specimen and war over it, or the control of them. So that could be interesting. And I'm guessing Prodigy, the company, and the trillionaire CEO are not long for this word, because they're not in any subsequent movie. So that could be interesting. And also, we haven't seen this synthetic, human and android hybrids in other movies that take place after this. So that's also an interesting thing that we need to explain. And I hope they explain it in a cool way, in a good, like it's something that they thought about. But
That's very hopeful of
yeah,
you, Tommy.
the main hook for me right now, um, uh, outside of some characters that I like Timothy Olyphant and Maro, and I think I also kind of like Wendy a little bit. Like she's not amazing, but I think it's an interesting protagonist to have. But like my main hook, so for now, is I want to see these aliens, these new aliens, and what they do with them. Like, how do they evolve throughout the episodes, and what kind of weird
Yeah.
shit they're gonna do, and the gruesome ways that they can kill people. Like, that's my main thing that I'm curious about, because that kind of world
Yeah.
building, and like, okay, let's just
I'm I'm worried.
make this alien, and see what happens if we put it in a room.
Yeah. I'm worried that we've seen all they have to offer in that sense, because they did we see some shots in the first episode of the creatures that are in containment, and we established the eyeball creature, we established the Zeno, and we established these parasite slug
Yeah.
things. And those are all the ones we see, and then we see them more explored in the second episode. And so I wonder if that's all they have to offer, because, like you said, that's probably the most interesting element for me, and it's quite superficial as something to be
Yeah.
hooked by.
To be
But
fair, yeah.
I want to see, yeah, some cool creature designs, good practical effects, and some interesting kills, I guess, and how that affects the way the characters deal with the situations. Because, yeah, like I said, as the biology of the Xenos unfold in the previous Alien films, it changes how our characters can deal with them and how they feel about it and how they go about, trying to capture or kill the aliens. So yeah, hopefully there's still more tricks in the bag with them, because at the
I
moment, yeah,
mean,
that's been
there
disappointing.
has to be, man. Like, I know I sound like the hopeful optimist, that, like, can't see, the truth, but I need to think that the best is yet to come. Like, yeah, because I don't want to live in a world where that's not the case. But yeah,
Because, yeah, I mean, the mystery, well, like we said, hopefully there's ulterior motives to the kid genius, because he has told his motivations in episode 2 of what he's doing and why he's doing it. Hopefully that's not fully the case, because that's not that interesting. And then the synth human hybrid kids, I'm not really interested in where that goes. I like that Timothy Olyphant is running these kids to a degree, but I think that's just because I like him. Yeah, and like I said, Maro is the most interesting character at the moment, and I quite like Joe. You know, Joe's got some substance to
Yeah.
him, and he's a good actor too. So yeah, we shall see. Nothing. I'm not getting my hopes up, but a decent start for me. It's better. It's a lot better than. Well, it's hard to say because it's an incomplete story, but it's better than Romulus for me at the moment.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, from a technical standpoint, I think Romulus was just gorgeous, just like everything about the
Oh
effects.
yeah.
And
Do you not feel the same about the look about this one?
in parts, yes, there were a few scenes that really impressed me, both the use of soundtrack and lighting, and there was
Yeah, the
this
production design.
very cool scene. I think it's in the second episode where like the soundtrack kicks in, and it's this amazing uh, track that I'm gonna listen to for the next few months now. And we have this tracking shot with this military walking in like the building that it's affected by the side crash, the crash of the side of the crash. And like there's these screens behind them, like with models posing, and it's just flickering, and like I think there's a bunch of very cool shots, but also sometimes you feel it's a TV show, like when
Yeah.
like some shots are really cool, like one of the first shots that we see of like the Maginote. It's the name of the ship that crashes on Earth. When we see that a ship in space, it looks almost movie quality, but then
Yeah, I think they do most of that. The establishing shots of the ships. The city maybe doesn't look as good, but yeah, like I think the spaceship stuff generally feels like you said movie quality
yeah, but
effects.
then like you have a few moments here and there where you're like, and I don't care about that too much. It's not gonna bring the score down for me if the effects are not always perfect. But like sometimes, when the Lost Boys arrive on the scene and they descend the
Yeah, that
ship,
bit. I know exactly the shot you're
and
talking
you're
about.
like,
Yeah.
okay, so the ramp was real and everything else is just CGI. So
There's a bit at the very end of episode 2 where, Wendy and like Slightly or Smee, they call them as
Slightly
well,
is the one
are
with Wendy, yeah.
standing. Yeah, and the Zeno's taken Joe out of this hole, and they're standing above, like, this cracked open of the ship, and they're looking down at where Joe's fallen down into, and it's so clear they are not there, that it's just a projection behind them. But yeah, I think for the most part, it looks great. Like the tech all looks exactly like it was ripped straight from Alien 1 and 2. Production design's on point. The costumes, yeah. The visual style has a classic feel to it. And Noah Hawley's clearly talented. But yeah, we'll see. It's yeah, at the moment it still feels a bit Disney Plus to me. We yeah,
Yeah.
4 more episodes to go. Or is
No,
it
it's
4? No,
it's
6
it's
more
eight
episodes to
eight
go.
episodes total. So, a little bit more meaty than most Disney Plus shows, which this is not, by the way, because we should say, sorry, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shall see. But this is not a Disney Plus TV show. It's just on Disney Plus, which I think it's an important difference because most Disney Plus TV shows have, I think, less.
No, this is a Star
Yeah, there you
original.
go. It keeps saying in the corner. It really bothers me that it doesn't go away. Like I have a little star icon in the right side corner while I watch it, and it keeps reminding me that I'm watching something. I'm not fully engrossed in the world of the story. But we shall see. We shall see how it develops. We'll probably do
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
review for episode 3 and 4, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, I mean, like as we said off the bat, if it's got the Alien brand on it, I'm gonna fucking sit there to the end and I'm gonna watch it, no matter how much I hate it.
That slop.
And I don't and I don't hate this,
Yeah.
not yet. But I think obviously when you're grading on the Alien scale, it always is you got to reach really good heights to be good for me, because it's sci-fi horror, which I love. I feel like there's like 7 of these movies, but they're all so similar to each other that there's still so much room for creativity with an Alien movie. So I don't accept the idea that, so well, they've done it all already, that what else can they do?
Yeah.
It's no, there's so many things you can do. You just have a really great character driven story, and you have the alien element seeping into that, and they're superfluous to what's actually happening. And those are the best kind of horror, like horror movies anyway, where that's kind of the drive. So yeah, we'll see. I'm really hoping it picks up and that there's going to be some more mysteries and stuff involved. But yeah, at the moment, I've got a lot of red flags.
Yeah. Agreed. We shall see. Do you want to give a score, or?
I suppose we could. Yeah, we'll give, if you give a grade of the first 2 episodes.
I mean, I think, as I said, the first episode, great microcosm of, what we expect from Alien, while also presenting a new story, which was I was intrigued about, even though, we'll see if that pays off in any way. So, first episode was definitely a solid 7 for me. It was enjoyable. It had some great, like Alien and Aliens kind of moments in there. Just, it hooked me. I was happy to watch. Episode 2, I guess a little bit less, even though it also had some great moments that I really liked. But yeah, generally didn't grab me quite as much as I would hope based on what I saw in episode 1. So I guess, 6.5 for the second episode. What about you?
Yeah, I'd go similarly. First episode stronger. I'd go like a 6 for episode 1. And just because I was really excited to see the visual style of
Yeah.
it and how it felt like a classic 70s sci-fi movie. Like when do you ever see people just talking and then fade to black and then we get the next scene? Like that's such an old style, and you feel the passage of time passing and all these crossfades of characters' faces over the spaceships. Like I loved all that stuff.
Me too.
And then as we delve deeper into the story elements in episode 2, I think it does get a bit weaker. So I'd probably give that a 5 out of 10. I'm still being fooled by the jangling keys in moments, but yes,
Those keys, they do jangle. And
they jangle and they're shiny. They are shiny.